All right. So I haven't done a long format video in a long time. And so it's kind of strange to sit down and think about recording something that's not a short. Um, but I wanted to uh, kind of show off this stuff that I've got behind me here. I did a swap a while back. And this platform here, this is a cool platform. So you can't see the bottom here. In fact, I may tilt it down a little bit. But that's a 2x12. Uh, this platform is 6 feet wide this way and 12 feet long this way, and it's all 2x12 floor joists and 3/4 inch of Vantech on top. Got right here. I've got 2 steps down, and when I build the walls, there'll be a 3 foot standard house entry door, and the for this room. This is going to be a metal walled room with venting and everything. It'll hold my inverters, my charge controllers, stuff like that. And these right here, these are batteries. Um, I'll show you here in a second. Um, but I've been wanting to have a better battery bank for years, and I was doing uh, I'm always searching for batteries. I've always wanted a certain kind of battery. I wanted something that would last longer than lead acid, uh, that would have a long shelf life. My lead acid battery bank, which you can't see, it's right here to the side, and it's a mess, but it's 1,000. It started out as 1,000 amp hours of golf cart batteries, Duracells, and there were those 215 amp hour 6 volt batteries, and I had them in pairs to make 12 volts because I use 12 volt, even though it's less efficient than something like a 48-volt system. 12 volt is more useful to me because I'm a ham, and I all my equipment can be run on 12-volt stuff. Inverters for 12 volt are easy to find. Chargers for phones, chargers for tablets, little appliances, all that stuff is easy to find in 12 volt. So I decided a long time ago to run my battery bank on 12 volt, even though I know that higher voltage is more efficient for transfer over distance. It's more efficient for conversion to AC and all that stuff. But that was my temporary setup. And when I first built it, the 1,000 amp hours that I had would run this whole house for about 2 weeks with very cloudy days. And that's with wood heat. Uh, that's not running the dryer or the washer, because the washer and dryer take a lot of juice. But that would be we have a dedicated 12 volt DC refrigerator from came out of Texas, but it's made in China. But this company out in Texas is it's Kodiak. Kodiak makes it. Had it about 3 years. It's a full size refrigerator, and it works really good. I will say that it likes 13 or 14 volts better than 12 volts, which is where this will come in. The float voltage on these batteries are higher. Um, so I'm always looking for an upgrade, and I wanted to make a permanent setup like this building is going to be. And I was on Marketplace the other day, and I saw a guy had a bank of iron Edison batteries for sale, and he had dropped his price, and he was wanting 4,000 to begin with for them, and then he dropped his price to 2,000. And as I had put it in my saved list and just to keep an eye on it, and after about a week or two, he dropped it to 2,000. And so I asked him if he was interested in a barter, and the guy said that he was. Asked what I had, and I said I have an old truck that I'll swap, or I build houses for a living. I could swap labor, or I could have a couple of firearms that I can swap. And he was interested in the firearms, so I swapped 2 firearms. Um, and to be honest, I think I probably got the better end of that deal, uh, because once I priced these out, I realized that this is like $20,000 worth of batteries, and he was just, getting rid of them. And I think Iron Edison, back when they were around, now they went bankrupt, but the company made good product, Their stuff's supposed to have like a 40 or 50-year warranty, I think, or was what it had originally. And the Edison batteries, we all know that the nickel iron batteries last, or anybody that's into solar anyway, knows that they last, 100 years if you take care of them. So these batteries, let me see here. These are the 500 amp hour batteries. They're the Iron Edison TN 500s. They're 500 amp hours, and this is a bank of 40 41.2 volt cells, which would end up being, he had it set up as a 48 volt bank, but I'm going to set it up as a 12 volt bank, which will end up having about 2,000 amp hours of capacity, and it will float at a higher voltage. These charge, I think, at 16 or 17 volts is their high rate charge when you're charging them, and they float a little higher. And they don't have, everything I've read about Edison batteries, which I'll be careful with them, is that they don't have any bottom on them like a lead acid. As long as you keep the electrolyte between the minimum and maximum, then you're really not damaging this by undercharging, or by drawdown, or by overcharging them, because you'll boil the electrolyte out. But he said they use these for about 5 years, is what he said. I'm gonna try and get where my face is in a little bit of shade. I don't think it's possible. The sun's coming up over here in the east. But I have 40. He had the rack that it came with. He bought this as a full set. He had the rack, and over here under the tarp is the fill gun for filling them, which has got an automatic shutoff. And he said that cost like 600 or 800. And he said, I'm going to throw it in. And I said, well, I'll bring some ammo for the guns. And so I brought some ammo for the firearms that I swapped him. I brought several hundred rounds for each gun. And then, and I will say, I wasn't swapping him 22s. I was swapping good quality hardware. But man, this was just a deal of a lifetime for me. This is I've always wanted a set of Edison batteries, and I've always regretted not getting one before the company went under, because now you can only really order them from China. And right now China sells the 500 amp hour batteries on eBay for $497 or something a piece, for one of these 1.2 volt batteries. And the thing about it is that I've got 40 of them. If you add that up without shipping, that's 19,000 and something, nearly 20,000 just for the Chinese ones. So I know that the Iron Edison stuff cost a little bit more. I don't know how to tell if this was made in the U.S., because I know they made some in the U.S., or if it was made in China. But I will say, this is not the nickel cadmium. This is the nickel iron with the KO2 electrolyte in it. I think it has some lithium phosphate. I want to say, I'll have to look it up, but they have a ratio for the mix. But I'm excited about it. I thought that was a really cool deal. Sometimes I swap into some really interesting things, and it's a blessing. I'm really, really jazzed about it, because now the only thing that I've got to do is I've got to come up with, I want to get an inverter that does 240 split phase. That's a good pure sine inverter, because I want to be able to run some 240 or 220 appliances like my dryer, or or a welder or something, something that requires higher voltage. But I also want to run all my 120 stuff, and that's part of the reason that this building will be metal. I like to ground, like on that battery bank, I have a metal case all the way around it, and it's grounded. The metal is just roof metal, but it's grounded to ground rods, and it kind of keeps the noise from the inverter in the area. It doesn't let it out as easily into the environment surrounding that. But that's kind of where I've been going. Been thinking about other things too, but and working. A lot of working, uh, but just been enjoying these cool mornings. It's been 60 degrees here on the mountain, or 62 degrees on the mountain every morning for the last 2 or 3 days, and I get to wear my big old hoodie, you know, and these things are super comfortable. I kind of really enjoy the cooler weather. Cooler weather, fall, wintertime, those are my times. I'm fine in the heat. I can work in the heat, but I enjoy the cool weather, and I don't mind cold at all. I've got to get to splitting wood and stocking. I got to fix my chimney too. I took it down while I was doing some siding, and I got to put it back up before the real cold weather sets in. But that's kind of where I'm at. Uh, Wanted to share a pretty long video. I know most people probably don't even watch my longer videos. I think I get like 1 or 2 hits on the longer videos. I get a lot of hits on the short videos, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. But y'all have a good afternoon, and have a good day. Have a good rest of the week. And I'll probably update this as I build this room. Me and my sons just kind of whipped this together. This was me and my 2 oldest sons built this. Mostly me and my oldest son, but my second son helped move all the stuff and started out helping lay the put the posts in the ground, digging the holes and everything. So it was a team effort. But anyway, y'all have a good day. I'll catch you next time.